cast of FuddyMeers, production by the Strollers, and I'd like to introduce the cast, starting with John over here.
I'm John Frasley, and I play Richard.
I'm Fran Schultz, I play Gertie.
I'm Linda Hatcher, I play Claire.
I'm Jeff Taylor, I play Limping Man.
I'm Rob Bazinal, I play Kenny.
Hi, Jeanette Ricky, I'm Heidi.
I'm John Mendelbit, I play Binky and Millet.
And where's Binky?
Binky's right here.
That's Binky. And we're in the final throes of rehearsal. We have 2 more weeks to go before we open. And we're opening on March the 6th. We run for 2 weekends. A Friday night performance and a Saturday matinee and a Saturday evening performance and a Sunday matinee on the first weekend. What I'd like to do is sort of open it up to a little discussion about the characters, a little description of what the story is about. Essentially, it's the story of Claire, who wakes up every day suffering from an illness called psychogenic amnesia. And this is where she forgets everything about her life each night when she goes to sleep. And in the morning, she has to reconstruct her entire life. And that's basically the story of the play from the beginning to the end of the play. And during the motion of the play, all the characters that she comes into contact help reconstruct her life. I'd like to just start with Claire and get some feedback as to what her feelings are about her character.
Claire is a blank slate every day, and gosh, it's hard. I don't want to give away too much. But, you know, meeting the characters along the way, they're very interesting characters. Each character has a bit of quirkiness, I guess, about them. And she takes her day like she's going on an adventure. She doesn't know what's coming next, and she plays along, and she has a good time. A lot of the play, a good time. some moments not so much, but it's fun.
And some of those moments are pretty dramatically important to her in revealing who her character is. So there are moments here with her, I don't know how to describe him without giving anything away, but this is Limping Man, and he comes out from nowhere. And
it's surprising.
My character's pretty psychotic, and a character of people with major issues. He may have the most out of anybody on stage. He has a severe lisp. He limps, and he's blind in one eye, deaf in the other, but he's got quite the personality. But he kind of throws a wrench into it. And he's also an ex-con, so actually he's not an ex-con, he's a con. So it's a wild story. It's not, I think, something that we talk about. It's not something that you're going to see at a lot of theaters if you're going to do it around town. This is a different experience. It's really, I think it takes you on a different type of journey, and I think we're all excited about that. I think it's not your standard vanilla, maybe community theater experience. It's a whole different turn left.
Richard, your character, he comes into the story not quite sure who he is and what's going on.
Now, Richard comes in right at the beginning and is with Claire, taking care of Claire, and because Claire doesn't have a memory every morning when she wakes up, Richard feels that it's important for him to guide her and lead her through her day and set her up and give her information. It's a routine that works for Richard, and he likes to take care of Claire. So, Richard also has some different layers which get uncovered throughout the play, and it's a very interesting and challenging character for me. But it's interesting to see how not only Richard, but how all the characters kind of evolve, and there's more and more that we learn as the play goes on.
Yeah, a lot of travel from extremes. I think each character has an extreme that they go from, and so it's a great opportunity for an actor, I think, because you get this opportunity to play the spectrum of what a character could be. Now, Gertie, I don't know what to say about Gertie.
Well, this is my little girl, and like every character in this play, Gertie also is damaged, but her damage is on the outside. I don't want to give too much away, but she actually understands and is trying to get everything back to some sense of normalcy. I want to say this is a comedy.
Yeah, very important to say.
It's a very funny show. Some might say it's a dark comedy, a black comedy, but it's got a lot of heart because every single character exposes something about themselves that they maybe didn't know or didn't recognize or never told before. Every character goes on a journey, and it's really a fun show, and it's got a lot to it. So that's all I'm going to say.
I would say Gertie is like a facilitating character.
Yeah, like the normative character.
Well, but she also makes things happen.
That's true.
In terms of the action of the play.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what family would not be complete without a young son, Kenny?
I play Kenny, and Kenny is he is a troubled teen who is a stoner, does a lot of pot, and he also really doesn't seem to care for anyone, especially Richard. And at least when it's just the beginning, and there's a lot of things that you learn about Kenny and the reason why he is that way. But he is extremely aggressive, extremely stoned, and he's a typical you don't understand it kind of teenager. Well, yeah.
Does he have any redeeming qualities?
Maybe not shown in the beginning. I mean, I guess he's kind of funny with his remarks, but until you uncover more about him, he seems to just be a kind of jerk. Slacker.
Now, Limpy Man brings two other people outside the family, the immediate family, into the picture, and they are Heidi, and I'm not sure what to say about Heidi.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just, we keep saying without giving anything away, because there's a lot of surprises in this play. We don't want to unveil them, but she's angry, and I guess she's the type of woman that, she thinks that she can change a man maybe, or she'll do anything for someone, just looking for love, desperate and vulnerable, looking for love, do anything for love kind of character, but just goes to extremes about it.
So do you think that would be, you would characterize that as her shortcoming? That she's easily...
Yes, I mean, definitely that's her shortcoming. There's a lot of things about her I think that people can identify with, but just to the extreme is how she goes.
And then there's our friend Millet.
And Millet. Millet is, he's also a con. He met Limpy Man in prison. But Millet is, I don't want to call him dumb, because he's not dumb, but he's just a little slow sometimes. And he depends upon Limpy Man as his support. The way the puppet comes in is like almost like a split personality sort of thing. So the things that are deep inside Millet that he wants to express come out through the puppet. And so basically his puppet is his alter ego, so to speak.
We did want to mention that Binky the puppet actually has demanded a private dressing room. The biggest diva of us all, right?
Yes. It's got quite a need.
We're having let's not get into that. Let's talk a little bit more about the ultimate goal of this play, and I think that's an important idea to convey, and that's that all these people are damaged goods, and everybody in life has what they view in themselves as damages. And to see it in comedy is to see somebody that you might think is lesser than you, and somehow that gives to what I call guilty laughter, which is laughing at the lesser of society. And that's what a lot of this play is about, is laughing at people that you as an audience member would consider to be lesser than you. And in that way, I think it opens a window onto ourselves. Anybody else have any thoughts about the play in general, what you think it means? what it's trying to convey?
I think it lets you, I think it divulges into not, because the first act is more of a comedy act, so you'll find that you shouldn't really judge a character just based on their outward appearance. And I feel that's a lot of it for Claire too, because a lot of it is what Claire initially sees, and then as you uncover some of the deeper characters, you realize that they all have some good in them, and that if you just wait to uncover past the weird abnormalities and all the problems they all have, they're doing things for a reason.
You know, some of you have to look harder for that.
Yeah. And I think it's also very sad too. I mean, it's funny and you're laughing, but then it's also very sad too because it's so real, you know?
I think there's also a face you present to one group of people and a face you present to another group of people. And each person has their own face when they're with a particular group of people, with their own identities and their relationships, and it changes dramatically outside of that particular group.
Especially for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for you.
It's an interesting script, and I hadn't really been that familiar with it beforehand, but as you read through it, and when you read it on paper, it seems very heavy and serious, but when it's played out, it is just the funniest thing. It's a piece of work which is constructed in a very original and clever way. And to see how it unfolds, it's just really amazing.
Well, this was part of it for David Lindsay Bear. It was part of a college assignment that he was to start to write a play, did not know where it was going to go. And so his professor told him just start with a situation and put it away, come back each day and write a little bit more. So he really didn't know where this play was going to end. He had no plan whatsoever. And there's something very organic about the way it comes together at the end. And it's all very expected too, because when you think about the concept of losing your memory and going back to sleep again, you sort of see how the play is being presented at the beginning, the end, and how it comes full circle. Which to me is a very interesting dramatic quality. And also as an actor, it's a wonderful opportunity, I think, for actors. Because you don't get these kinds of chances where you can have, you know, violent, dramatic moments and back to back with some hilarity. So it's, I think, a great acting experience.
For a lot of characters, it's like juggling.
Yeah.
It's not just the lines. We talk about the melody, so you have to keep in mind you have to lisp when you're on stage, you got to limp when you're on stage, you got to puppet attached to your hands. You know, Gertie, I mean,
I have another language.
a whole other language, so it's like it's tough enough just to do it straight.
Yeah, they're not playing for the comedy.
And
We're not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
We're just trying to be.
We're just trying to be, right, exactly.
listen, we're going to take a little break right now and be back for after we get a word from our sponsors.
The research here at St. Jude is very important. It gave my daughter a second chance at life.
Because we have donors that believe in what we're doing, we can really move our research forward much faster.
St. Jude is working to drive the overall survival rate for childhood cancer to 90% in the next decade. And we won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
Because of you. Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
And we're back, and we are talking with the cast of characters from our upcoming production of the Strollers, the FuddyMeers, Fuddy, F-U-D-D-Y, M-E-E-R-S. And we have a wonderful collection of actors here. Speaking as the director, I have to say that we didn't have a big turnout for the auditions, but I was so blessed in getting all the right people to come out so that each and every one of these characters are fleshed out to exactly the way I believe that the author originally intended. So we've got a great assemblage of people here and a great opportunity of an evening of entertainment. We've lost one of our actors, but Binky is still here with us, thank God. And let's talk a little bit more about the play itself, I guess, and where we think it could have ended or gone the next day. And I'm not sure that might be to reveal it, huh?
I don't know, it might be.
I know, I'm afraid we're gonna give stuff away.
No, we don't want to do that.
I think, as you can see, there's an element of mystery to this play. So
And
that's
very protective of that.
well, and it's, but that's I mean, this is the beauty of this play. It feels like almost like it was improv, and so that I think comes from that it was this exercise he did for his PhD, right? And some of the other plays he wrote were Rabbit Hole.
And Rabbit Hole and Kimberly Akimbo.
Yeah.
And Kimberly Akimbo is a story of a woman who ages rapidly. So the course of the play for her is starting out young and ending out as an old woman at the end.
Yeah. And also then Rabbit Hole has this, very sad element of it's a couple that had lost their only small child, and all the things that happen with trying to reconcile, but it has humor in it as well. So this play has mystery, it has humor, it has drama, and yet it seems like it's a big, long improv piece.
Yeah, and very farcical too.
And very farcical.
It has a real element of farce about it, and so it's big and bold, and there's lots of action. So I've heard people compare it to a situation comedy.
Yeah, and it has that feel to it, to a certain degree. Only little, maybe a little over the top for PG, not quite PG.
And it's very physical too.
Yeah, it's like a lot of physical comedy, which is a lot of fun as actors.
Did we mention this is an adult play?
This is not.
Yes, definitely.
I know there's a cute puppet in it, but let's take that away.
And we have a 15-year-old boy.
I think what's always interesting about any production, and a lot of Strollers production, is as an actor, you get casting something, everything you get casting, you're like, well, this won't be too much work. This doesn't seem like a lot. And invariably, you're always like, God. And it's just to get it right. I mean, and you have to go over every single little part. How audiences recognize it, how much work it really is for every person and the director and anybody who's associated with their production to get it right. And no matter what play you do, you just.
But that's what it is for farce too, because it's so physical.
Yeah.
You're exhausted by the end of it, and it's all about position and motion. And if you don't get it right, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it is physical, and I forget which actor said it at the end of the night. If we're not sweating and breathing hard, we're not doing it right. There's a lot of. It was Binky. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, one of Binky's famous lines.
And whenever you play a character, I mean, you have to say, well, what part of this character could be like me? So, John's been in prison for a long time. So, I mean, these are cast characters, so, I mean, to find, and they're far out, so you have to find what of this character would be a little bit like me, which is a kind of a private thing, you don't need to share that with other people. But that's, in this, it's pretty interesting to go, I mean, you have to find that person.
I also want to point out that the sets are coming together. There are rotating pieces, there are cars, and the props, there are more props than I've ever seen in a show. They all are important. So all the little pieces that come together are pretty impressive.
And I also think that that's related to farce too. Farce always has lots of props and lots of gag material and lots of doors opening and things turning and being revealed. So that's all these elements all come together. If they're done right and we do it right, and we're hoping that we will, that it'll all be an evening of a lot of laughter and entertainment.
And as soon as people come and they see the headshots we took for the show, they'll know they're going to be on a different trip.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most actors are like, we all want to get dressed up, and so we got to, and Keith took a photo, and the camera was like,
like FuddyMeers.
Yeah, I'm like, nobody is going to look like, I don't want that. I want you to look different, smile and snarl. I was like, okay. So the photos will just clue you right into how different type of show it's. Well, you look pretty normal, whatever. She gets the beauty show.
And the title does mean something.
Yes, it does.
FuddyMeers doesn't make sense. I don't know whether we want to, because that kind of evolves through it, but it means something different than what it sounds like, which sounds like FuddyMeers, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, my husband had said to me, it sounds like an Irish play. I'm like, it doesn't.
FuddyMeers.
So no, it means something to me.
But that's even in the name. It's the revealing of this unknown thing.
Yeah.
That the play is all about.
That's right. People say, "What do you do?" Funny. What?
You heard me.
What do you mean? What's that about?
We will have oxygen in the lobby in case anybody brings things from laughing too much.
What else? So we have our opening night, which is March the 6th, Friday, March the 6th. Another performance matinee on Saturday the 7th, and that evening of Saturday the 7th, and then again on Sunday, and then we'll do it all again the next weekend, but only Friday and Saturday, and no Sunday that day. We really hope you come out and see this, because I think we're all feeling very good about this piece, and I think you'll find you're going to have a great evening and a lot of entertainment. So please try to come out. I think you'll enjoy it.
It's at the Bergdorf Center, number 10 Durant Street.
In Maplewood.
In Maplewood.
And we are the Strollers.
We are, and you can find us on thestrollers.org. You can order tickets online and come see us, okay?